All right, it's that time of year again. Middle of October, GFC time. Grappler Fall Classic, 6th annual GFC is going down this weekend. Battle Creek, Michigan. We got some of the best kids from all over the country coming to get some at Kellogg Arena. Once again, as we always do, I'm Tony Greathouse from Michigan Grappler and the Grappler Fall Classic, and this is Steve Wodzinski. He is the ranking guy. He does all the rankings for Michigan Grappler. He's also our high school analyst for the Associated Wrestling Press. He does all our national rankings for the AWP. He knows high school wrestlers in Michigan and all over the country better than anybody, so he's going to help me break it down. And what we're going to do today is we're going to start out, we're going to break it up into 3 sections. So part 1, this first video, is our lightweights, 98 through 125. So we're going to go through each weight class. We're going to let you guys know who the best guys to look for are, and then we're going to make our picks up here on the whiteboard, who we think is going to win it. Just to give a shout out, the Grappler Fall Classic is being presented by Wrestling Addicts this year. Wrestling Addicts, the people at Wrestling Addicts are doing all our awards. Our finalists are going to get to wear some sick compression shorts, compression tops for the finals, and they're doing all the champion awards as well. They'll be on site with all kinds of gear and crazy stuff for you guys to check out. And they're also your one-stop shop for all your team gear needs, everything you need to get ready for the start of the season. So make sure you check them out, www.wrestlingaddicts.com. Steve, let's get started, man. 98, our smallest weight class. You know, usually 98, we don't get a lot of returning high school guys. We get a lot of incoming freshmen, middle school kids. This year we got a couple guys that had some success at 103 in the high school division level last year with some high school experience, and we also, as normal, we got some young bucks. So basically what we're going to do each weight class, Steve, because he knows the state of Michigan better than anybody, he's going to kind of break down the Michigan guys, and then I'll throw in who we got coming in from out of state, and we'll give you guys kind of a gist. But just so you know, the full seeds are available on MichiganGrappler.com, on AssociatedWrestlingPress.com, so you can check out the full seeds. We're not going to list them all off here. It'll take forever. So let's get started. Michigan kids at 98, what do we got?
Yeah, so 98, like Tony was saying, is kind of a proving ground weight. There's not a lot of guys who are really established as far as high school credentials go. We have 3 main names that come to mind for Michigan, 3 guys who were in their varsity lineups last year. The 1 seed is Isaiah Berry. He was a regional qualifier last year, Plymouth High School. Had a really good summer, really good spring, wrestled a lot of stuff, Grand River Rumble, Midwest Grand Challenge. So he's the 1 seed. Number 2 seed, we have Jace Garza, who was a state qualifier last year, Division I, Holland West Ottawa. I think Berry has the win over him this summer, so that makes him the 1 seed. Then our number 3 seed coming out of Manchester High School is Reese Fry.
Little fella, tiny
last year, like one of the smallest kids I've ever seen wrestle at the state tournament. So as he continues to fill out of that weight, he's going to be a guy to watch this year, maybe next year, and down the road at 103.
I like those fiery little guys.
Me too.
And then coming from before you go to him, coming from out of state, we got a really exciting guy I'm really excited to see, and that's Carson Manville. He's from Virginia. I think he's only in 7th grade right now, but he's just been tearing it up on the youth levels.
Everyone knows his brother, Mason Manville, has got mummy headgear.
I hope Carson wears the same headgear.
Me too. So I've been picturing him.
I wish his brother was coming too. That would have been even better. But we're pumped to see Carson. I think he's our first guy ever from the state of Virginia.
I think so. And he's wrestling in both divisions too.
He is. He's definitely a favorite in the middle school division. But it'll be interesting to see. I mean, he's had a ton of success. He's won the USA Wrestling Freestyle Greco Kids Nationals. I mean, he's been tearing it up on the middle school scene. But it'll be interesting to see how he does with. I mean, he's got 3 sophomores. Guys who have a year of high school experience under their belt. And I'm not sure how big. He registered at 100 for the middle school division, so I feel like he can't be too small. But it'll be exciting to see him scrap with these guys. And then who's our other guy? We got one more at 98 to mention.
Devin Johnson, pretty tough kid out of Detroit Catholic Central. Has a lot of credentials on the youth scene. He was kind of undersized last year. Wasn't in their starting lineup, but he could potentially be their starter at 103 this year, and it could be a guy who could make some noise for them.
All right, so end of the day, who you got?
This is a tough one for me. I was tempted to go with Manville, but Isaiah Berry has really impressed me all spring, all summer, so that's my guy. Isaiah Berry from Plymouth, Michigan.
So he's going to go with Isaiah Berry from Michigan, which is a good pick. Plymouth, Coach Guernsey, I'm a big supporter of that program. But, I'm just so excited. A name, Carson Manville coming from out of state, I feel like he's the guy. So I'm going to go with Manville, 7th grade phenom, out of Virginia at 98. So there you have it, 98 pounds.
And if those seeds hold, that would be the semifinal, is Manville versus Berry.
That'd be pretty sweet. All right, shifting gears, 105 this year, 105. I mean, Normally,
really
105 is kind of like 98. You know? I
Right.
mean, you don't get many guys who've had a ton of success already at the high school level,
Right.
because it's usually undersized 103 pounders from last year. But this year, not the case. I mean, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys who are returning state qualifiers from last year.
Right.
I mean,
Usually 105
crazy.
is kind of top heavy. We usually get, a Louis Hayes or an Austin
Yeah.
Franco who's really good, and then it drops off. But this is a deep weight going down. 12 seeded guys. There's some really good unseeded guys too. So
Absolutely.
We're the
So-
deepest 105s we've ever had.
Give us a rundown of the Michigan guys of note.
All right, so the number 1 seed is Ben Kamali. He had a really good summer. He wrestled a ton of freestyle and Greco, beat some nationally ranked guys. He was 4th in Division I last year at 103. Then we just got a ton, and I kind of think he'll end up at 112 this year, so this might be the last time we see him down at this weight. But then we got a ton of guys who are going to contend for state titles this year at 103 in Michigan. We got Andy Roosdorfer from Flint Kersley, Brendan Zelenka from St. John's, David Schneider from Allegan. All those are guys who are going to be fighting for a Division II state title. We got Neil Antrazian, returning state qualifier Division I. He's going to be in the mix. We got guys like Corbin Munson and Connor Casey, returning regional qualifiers. I'm thinking going to be high state placers this year if they can stay down. Then we got some really good freshmen coming out of Michigan too. Corey Gamet, stud. Kyle Cantola out of Heartland, stud. Tucker Scholl Hudson, he's a GFC middle school champ. He's a stud. Two-time,
GFC
that's
middle
right.
School champ.
And so tons and tons of talent on the Michigan end, and also some pretty good guys from out of state.
Another good freshman too that he didn't mention is Chase Meyer from Warren Woods Tower. Chase, he won the GFC a couple years ago in the middle school division too. So you got all these guys coming in who are just have great middle school resumes, and it's now's their chance. See where they're at, see where they stack up against the high school guys. Coming in from out of state, the really, the big one is Diamante Perry from Florida, from Lake Gibson High School. Dude's a junior. He was 3rd in the state last year in Florida at 106, and now he's at 105, so I feel like he's going to probably be a good size 105 pounder.
Absolutely.
And I've never seen him wrestle, but I've seen his brother wrestle. His brother was just super. I think his brother going to Eastern now.
He is. Darian Perry's at Eastern.
Really
he was
athletic,
3rd at this
tough.
tournament last year,
Yeah.
wrestled Lincoln Olsen tough. And I'm about 95% sure that both of them actually, but they were NHSCA All-Americans last year in the spring.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to Perry Kamali. I feel like that's going to be the match to watch.
Absolutely.
Both those guys are going to be big, both really athletic, tough, hard-nosed dudes. And then obviously all these out-of-state guys. Another former GFC middle school champ to watch out for is Hassan Johnson from Illinois. I don't think he wrestled as a freshman last year in Illinois.
Yeah, I couldn't find a lot on him last year.
But he had a really good, youth career. He's a stud, one of those
Absolutely.
Harvey Twisters, and those guys all come to the GFC every year and just rock in the middle school division. And now him, and actually there's a few others that are now up in the high school division. So it's gonna be really cool to see how those guys do at the high school division. So, end of the day, wrap it all up. Who you got?
I'm going to kind of take a flyer. Looking through this weight, there's a lot of guys who I like. And Hassan Johnson, not a ton of recent results, but just going off the eyeball test, I've watched him a lot as a middle schooler. The dude is incredibly talented, so he's my pick to make a statement and get
Go
the
with
win.
the dark horse. According to Steve's seeds, if they don't change right now, Hassan Johnson is a 7 seed. So that'd be a 7 seed winning it. That's pretty impressive. And you know what? I'm going to go out of the state lines too. I mean, I feel like we're both traders right now, but Diamante Perry. It's hard for me to pick someone who I've never actually watched.
Yeah.
But I feel like his resume, and I've watched his brother, so I'm just going to assume that he wrestles like his brother. And so I'm going to go with Diamante Perry from Florida. And not to mention, Lake Gibson has been
Absolutely.
has owned 105 because Caleb Smith won it at 105 a couple years ago, and then Caleb Smith won it at 112 last year. So Lake Gibson's due for another lightweight champ.
And
So-
the way it's set up, this is a quarterfinal.
Wow, that'd be crazy. And this is one of those weights too. I mean, really, every weight is kind of like this, but it's one of those weights that I just marked myself. Dang it. This is one of those weights that the quarterfinals could be. I mean, quarterfinals on. Even the round of 16, we're going to have some good matchups. I mean, we're going to have guys like Hassan Johnson and Tucker Scholl are going to wrestle in the round of 16.
Right, and then guys like Chase Mayer aren't even seeded, and they could be a tough draw for
Absolutely.
anyone.
So we're going to have some just crazy. I mean, Corey Gannett and Kamali quarterfinal match.
Nuts.
Could be pretty sweet. So I'm really pumped about that weight. This is maybe the deepest 105 that we've ever had. I mean,
Yeah.
because the 105, like you said, we always get like a couple studs and then it's like kind of drops off a little bit after that. We got a lot of guys with a lot of experience, proven guys, really tough weights. Speaking of tough weights, 112. Holy mackerel, 112 is going to be fun. Yeah, I'm going to let you go ahead and ramble through. I mean, there's so many Michigan kids. It's going to take you a couple minutes, so you're going to have to be brief. But go ahead. What we got in Michigan?
All right, top Michigan kid is Mikey Mars. Mike Mars, state champ last year, GFC champ last year at 98 pounds.
Turning champ.
I think he was like 58-2 last year en route to the state title. Avenged both of those losses in the state semifinals and finals. So he's the man. He's ranked pretty high in the nation at 105 or 106. Then we got a couple of guys who were 112 pounders last year. Guys like Dylan Wilkins, 4th in the state Division II 112.
Going to Davenport.
Jack Medley, 7th in the state Division I 112. Drew Hutchinson, 6th in, or maybe 5th in Division II 112. We got Elijah Weaver out of Roseville, who's a state finalist. He wrestled Mike Mars in the state finals last year. They actually wrestled twice last year, and they were 1-1 on the season. Dan Pupor, who came into the Division I state tournament ranked number 1 last year. So very, very minimal separation going down the list. Branson Proudlock, 4th in Division II. Roy Costello, 4th in Division III.
Dude's tough.
Vincent Priance, who was a huge 103-pounder, was 8th in Division I last year. Emilio Sanchez was in the state qualifier at 112 last year, back at this way. Same thing with Nick Dankowski and Kamante Simons out at Hazel Park and Allendale, returning at 112 state qualifiers. And we also have Leon Abad, Warren Mott, returning state qualifier at that weight. Dan Manier out of Farmington, he's unseeded. He was a state qualifier last year, and he came pretty darn close to being an All-American in Fargo this summer. So a lot of depth from the Michigan angle. And Caleb Whitford, stud freshman coming in. I think you guys are all familiar with his older brother, Ben.
Studs, lots of studs. And I mean, before I talk about the out-of-state guys, a couple guys that stand out to me. And Jack Medley is returning at 112.
Right.
He was a good-sized 112-pounder last year.
And he took 7th in Division I last year, but the kid who took 3rd, Liam Malchevsky, Medley was like 5-0 against him last year in the draw. Kind of worked out funny, but he was probably better than 7th place last year in Division I.
Yeah, we're going to see some really interesting Michigan matchups alone. But then we throw in these out-of-state guys. I mean, first of all, number 1 seed Tommy Hoskins from Ohio. Dayton Christian came through here last minute this weekend. A bunch of dudes from Dayton Christian got registered. Dayton Christian was the Division III state champion team last year. And they're one of the best teams in the country, and they're bringing a bunch of their best guys, including
Tommy Hoskins has been at 113 for over a year now, like going back to Fargo 2014. He's been at 113, so he's going to be pretty comfortable this way.
Yeah, so I mean, Tommy Hoskins, state champ, dude's a stud. He's ranked like top 10, top 15 in the country right now, most national rankings. And then on top of that, we got, I'm pretty sure it's his teammate,
Ronnie Pietro.
I think he's also from Dayton Christian. He was 4th in the state in Ohio last year. Then we got out of Kentucky, Blake Roth. He was 8th in the state, but Kentucky's just one division.
That's right.
So I mean, you got to keep that in mind when you see those dudes.
And
from
also,
Kentucky.
8th graders allowed to wrestle at the state tournament in Kentucky. So 106 in Kentucky, which was his weight, is a really deep weight because you have not only the freshmen but the 8th graders too.
Yeah, and you get a lot of those good Ohio middle schoolers come down to Kentucky,
Exactly.
so they can wrestle in the high school. So yeah, for sure. And then an incoming freshman to watch out for. Well, first of all, you got Gentry Deck, who was a state qualifier as an 8th grader in Kentucky last year. And then you got Logan Heil, the brother of Josh Heil. The Heil brothers rock at the GFC every year. Logan Heil won it last year in the middle school division. Josh has won it the last 2 years in the high school division. So Logan Heil, someone to definitely keep an eye out for. Who you got, Steve? It's a tough weight to pick. First of all, before he picks, just little numbers for you. 19 state qualifiers in this weight class. So the round of 16 on, we're looking at theoretically all state qualifiers. Tougher than the state tournament.
Yep.
12 returning state placers in this weight class. Pretty insane. Who you got?
I love Tommy Hoskins, huge fan, but I'm going with Mikey Mars to repeat as champ.
And Glenn, as much as I love Mikey Mars, and I would support the fact that he's a KLA guy, dude, Tommy Hoskins,
He's the man.
Dud. I mean, he's 13th in the country right now. He's the real deal. I don't think, especially because his experience, Ohio, his experience is all at 113.
Right.
Where Mikey Mars is coming up, he's been
basically his first tournament.
Yeah, he's been a 103 pounder. So I think Hoskins having that little bit more experience at this weight class gives him the edge. So that's my guy. All right, moving on. 119,
really
yet another stacked weight. 119 has 22 state qualifiers, 14 returning state placers, 4 returning state champions. Now that's returning state champions. I mean, this weight, when it's all said and done,
10.
yeah, you have like 7 or 8 of these guys winning state titles this year. It's pretty crazy. Who we got coming from Michigan?
All right, so we got Jared Trombley Corona. He was a state champ last year as a freshman. He is the real deal. Unfortunately, AJ Facundo, he's a scratch at this weight, so we're not going to have him, but still tons of Michigan talent running down the list. We got Dante Rivera Garcia.
Who lost to Facundo, close match
in the
last
state
year.
finals. Yeah. Rivera Garcia, 2-time D1 state placer, D1 state finalist, I believe a returning GFC All-American. I think actually a two-time GFC All-American. Carl Antrazian, he was a former Division I state finalist, fourth last year. Max Johnson, it's kind of up and down, but we've all seen how good he can be. He's a former Division I state champ, a former GFC All-American. He could win this whole thing. And then we got Robert Lefevre, who's a late entry, just signed up today. He's a Division IV state runner-up, a really tough kid. We got Reese Wallace, top 3 in Division IV last year as a freshman out of Montrose. We got Caleb Marion, who's maybe the best kid in the state, or at least the best senior in the state who hasn't placed at the state tournament yet. Three-time state qualifier. Got Juliana Saldana out of Melvindale coming back, Division II state qualifier at this weight last year. Got Kyle Boxeth, unseeded, a 2014 Division I state placer. Ethan Curtin, returning state qualifier. Noah Lopez out of Heartland, returning state qualifier. Nolan Claypeck out of Lakeland, former state qualifier. Braden Robinson out of Shepherd, he's a former state qualifier.
There's going to be 6,
tons.
If things don't change, there's going to be 6 state qualifiers who are drawn into this bracket.
And that's not even taking into account Kevon Davenport of Detroit Catholic Central and James Whitaker out of Eaton Rapids, who are 2 of the best freshmen in the entire state.
Yeah, those guys are both studs. Coming in from out of state, we got number 1 seed Paul Conrath. Dude's a stud. He lost in the finals last year at
Caleb
the GFC
Smith.
to Caleb Smith in a sweet match. But he's ranked nationally.
He's won a Fargo title before.
Yeah, he won Fargo 2 years ago in freestyle. He's a state runner-up in Indiana. Indiana, remember, is just one division. I mean, to win a state title in Indiana is really good.
He's been top 3 both the past 2 years.
He's just a little shredder. So he's a stud. Also coming in from out of state, we got Ryan Moore. He was 3rd in the state last year in Kentucky as a freshman. He's tough, possible dark horse. Michael Tortoris, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, I apologize. He's been to this tournament before. He was 3rd in the state last year in Illinois. Mason Woltman, Florida State champ, one of our Lake Highland Prep kids. We got a ton of kids, like usual, coming from Lake Highland Prep, studs from down in Florida in the Tampa area. Tito Colon was 4th in the state in Division I 2 years ago in New York.
Division I New York, one of the toughest state tournaments in the country.
For
it's
sure.
a 2-division state.
So him and his brother are both coming from New York. We got Stephen Moreno from St. Thomas Aquinas, Florida. Kid's a stud. I've been hearing a lot of big things about him. I mean, he's the 12 seed.
Yeah.
I mean, so this bracket is going to be crazy in the beginning. There's going to be some matchups that anything could happen. I mean, we got
I think Kyle Clough was almost a placer at this tournament last year out of Illinois. He's the 14 seed.
Well, he's a state qualifier from Illinois, 3A in Illinois. That's pretty tough.
Yeah.
That's a really tough division.
And also, sometimes you see these Illinois state qualifiers. If you lose your first match in the Illinois state tournament, you could potentially be done. So some of these guys that go in, they have one bad match and they don't place, and that's not really indicative of how good they are.
Yeah, and as we see, I mean, every year at junior duels, cadet duels, Illinois wins everything.
Right.
And they're one of the deepest states. So these guys from Illinois are some people that we got to keep an eye on. And then another Harvey Twister freshman, Donnell Washington, coming in. He's been to the GFC before. He's placed pretty high. So a ton of good kids from out of state. I'm gonna pick first, and even though I like Paul Conrath a lot, Jarrett Trombley obviously is a stud. He's a proven winner, but I really, really think Dante Rivera Garcia. He wrestles good at this tournament every year. He's been unable to get over the hump.
He does. He does pretty good work when he's got a day to weigh in beforehand.
Yeah, he's strong. He's athletic. I really like him a lot. He's tough. He's downriver tough. Southgate.
That's right.
So I'm gonna go with Rivera Garcia, Michigan.
There's a lot of guys I like here. I think the guy that's probably kind of under the radar, the guy who I would buy his stock low right now, because I think it's about to go back up, is Max Johnson. He can beat anyone. But Paul Conrath didn't win this tournament last year, lost a close one in the finals. Not going to happen again. He's walking out with the title.
Paul Conrath, Mighty Mouse. He looks like Mighty Mouse.
I like that.
He's like a little beast. All right, 125. 125 this year is the last one in this video. Is kind of like 119 last year. It's a lot of the same people. 119 last year was like our marquee weight. Doyle Trout from Nebraska ended up winning it. He was the OW for it. And this could be an OW weight class again this year, depending on how it works out. I mean, this weight has 17 state qualifiers, 12 state placers, and the top 6 are all nationally ranked, I think, or they have been nationally ranked. I mean, they're really nationally prominent dudes in the top 6. I mean, the 6th seed is Lucas Hall. He's a 2-time state champ. He's won the GFC twice.
He's a former GFC OW.
He was. I mean, the dude's a stud. He's just committed to Michigan State. So he's a 6th seed. So give us a rundown of the Michigan guys.
All right, so number 1, we got Devin Schroeder coming in, 3-time state champ. He's the number 1 senior in the state right now. D. Schroeder. He's the man. Number 4 seed Ian Parker, who has just been lights out all summer.
Yeah,
maybe
heck of a summer.
Maybe if you look at all the Michigan kids that go and wrestle nationally, maybe the most consistent. I mean, he never has a bad match, which is kind of incredible when you think about how many high caliber matches he's
Also
wrestling.
just committed to Iowa State.
That's right, recent
Shout out
Iowa
to
State
that.
commit. Shout out to Kevin Jackson and the Cyclones. 6 seed Lucas Hall, we touched him already. Probably the most athletic kid, maybe in this entire tournament. Freak athlete. He's won the GFC before. He's won state titles before. He's been a high placer at Flow Nationals before. He's been a high placer at the Freak Show before. The resume goes on and on.
And he's a Spartan.
Number 7 seed, we got my man Jackson Redeker, one of the most dangerous kids in this tournament. 2-time Division I state placer. Number 8, we got Hunter Corcoran out of Lake Fenton. 3rd in the state last year, Division III, Nolan Saxton, a Lakeview High School. 2-time Division III state placer. Brendan Ladd out of Ortonville, Brandon. I think he was a match away from his place in the state tournament at this weight last year, but the year before he was 3rd in Division II. Austin O'Haron out of Eaton Rapids, Division II state placer last year. Tony Williams, really tough kid out of Stevensville Lakeshore, who pinned Max Johnson at the GFC last year, which was a pretty big win for him.
He's a GFC dark horse.
Luke Zimmerman coming out of Linden High School, returning SQ, and Kyle French out of Marysville, who I think he was a scratch at the state tournament last year, and he didn't end up wrestling, but could have been a pretty high placer otherwise. He's a 2-time D2 state qualifier.
Notable out of state, first of all, number 2 seed Travis Piotrowski. Dude is a stud.
Unbelievable Fargo this summer.
Yeah, he's a hammer. He had a great summer. He's ranked, I think, 7th in the
3rd junior
country.
freestyle.
7th in the country right now. He was 3rd in the state in Illinois, but like we just said, he had a crazy summer. Joey Silva from Florida.
Stud.
I mean,
Been around a while at the GFC.
yeah, he has. And last year at the GFC, I watched him. One of the most impressive guys I watched. He had an amazing tournament. He was in that 119 weight, I think. Or no, he was
Right.
at 112. I think he might have lost to Caleb Smith at 112.
I think so.
We'd have to check that. But he's a stud. He's going to be in the mix. Then, I mean, this is actually one of our better out-of-state weights. We got Braden Bailey from Indiana, who's 3rd in the state in Indiana 2 times. And once again, 1 division in Indiana.
And he beat Lucas Hall this summer in folk style and freestyle out west. So he's coming off some big wins.
Yeah, and he had a rough tournament last year. He played. I mean, he was in a tough weight, but he placed like 7th.
I think he took 7th, but I mean he beat Chris Poland for 8th. He's a pretty tough
so
kid.
he's going to be ready to come and win it this year, coming to get some. Guys like Hector Colomb, New York State placer. We got Luke Weimer, who's a state qualifier from Ohio. Jonathan Fanfan, who's a Florida state qualifier. So a ton of good talent coming in from out of state to take on all the good Michigan guys that are already there as well. It's going to be, I mean, this weight class is going to be absolutely insane, especially like we talked about those top 6. If the seeds hold true right now, the quarterfinals in this weight are going to feature Lucas Hall, Joey Silva, nuts, and Ian Parker, Braden Bailey. I mean, those are going to be sweet matches, and the semis are going to be obviously nuts. So, who you got, Steve?
I like all these guys so much, but I think, like I touched on earlier, Ian Parker wrestles so much year-round. He's so consistent. He's in every single match that he's got a great motor, doesn't really make mistakes. I think he's the safe pick.
You know what, Ian?
Ian Parker.
I love Ian. He's my guy. But we can't ignore the fact that Devin Schroeder from Michigan, the dude just wins.
He just wins.
3-time state champ. He's looking to become the next 4-time state champ in the state of Michigan. Dude won flows. He's went undefeated out in Disney a couple times. I mean, I think he's ranked like 5th in the country right now. Dude's an absolute hammer.
Purdue
Plus,
commit.
with riding time.
That's true. That plays
sick
right into his
on
game.
top. Him and Lucas Hall had a great match at the DCC tournament last year, so I'm looking forward to maybe that happening
Absolutely.
again. Him and Parker in the semis would just be like
Awesome.
a crazy Michigan, like a dream Michigan matchup.
I don't think they've ever wrestled in high school either.
I don't think they have either. I think they've always been about the same weight. I wonder why.
I think Ian's been a little lighter the past couple of years and this year Ian was heavier.
Gonna be sweet.
Yep.
So there you have it. 98 through 125, the little fellas. Those are our picks. You can watch all the matches. If you can't be there, you can watch it live. It's going to be on
That'd be
TrackCast.
sweet. First time ever.
Yeah, so every single match is going to be streamed live. And on top of that, it's all instantly archived. It's like a new thing now on Track. It's pretty sweet. They did it for the Indiana tournament.
Yep.
So like literally, when the match is over, if you pay for the TrackCast, it's like $10 to watch the whole thing live. But if you do that, then like immediately when the match is over, you can also go back and watch it. Like it's instantly available to watch. It's a pretty sweet feature. So
Yeah, and if for some reason you've live streamed before and it hasn't worked or whatever, and like, don't let that be a reason you don't do this, because it's totally new. It's going to be awesome. I used it for tournaments. It's sick.
yeah, great way to follow the tournament. So check it out. 2015 Grappler Fall Classic presented by Wrestling Addicts, 6th annual. Going to be the best one yet. Live on TrackCast. October 17th, this Saturday. If you're not registered, there's still room for a couple people, so get registered, get some. We'll see you Saturday.